Here.
Ms. Hunsaker. Here. Mr. Ross. Here. Ms. Owen.
Here. Alright, so we're all here.
Set that there so I don't
Yes, sir.
keep thinking it
I'd
around.
like to make a motion to move the item 10 up to make as the next item, so that we'll have the chairman set for the board meeting, but that has to happen at the first meeting.
Alright. Second?
Second.
Okay. Alright, Mr. Cox, you have anything?
We have to move that item up to number 4 to stay in line with policy. I'm thinking that's correct. So, we can move that up, vote on the chair and a vice chair, and then we can continue with the meeting.
Mr. Brackett?
No, do we need to vote on this before we, on the chair and vice chair?
We have to vote on the motion to move it.
Okay. 9.
Alright. Anyone else got anything about the first motion? Alright, Tiffany, call roll.
Ms. Hunsaker.
Yes.
Mr. Cantrell.
Yes.
Mr. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Cox.
Yes.
Mr. Meduski.
Yes.
Mr. Bass.
Yes.
Mr. Harrell.
Yes.
Mr. Brock.
Yes.
Ms. Owen.
Yes. Alright, so now,
I make a motion to appoint Chris Owen chair, Danny Wright vice chair.
alright, Mr. Brackett did the first motion, Ms. Hunsaker did the second. Alright, Mr. Brackett,
No.
Ms. Hunsaker. Alright, anyone else have any comments? Alright, Tiff, call the roll.
Mr. Cantrell.
Yes.
Mr. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Cox.
Yes.
Mr. Meduski.
Yes.
Mr. Bass.
Yes.
Mr. Harrell.
No.
Ms. Hunsaker.
Yes.
Mr. Rock.
Yes.
Ms. Owen.
Yes. Alright, motion passes. We'll move on to the next part of our agenda, adoption of regular agenda and consent agenda. Do I have a motion? Alright, Mr. Wright made the first, Mr. Brackett made the, Mr. Brackett had the first, and Mr., oh my gosh, Wright had the second. Alright, Mr. Brackett,
No.
Mr. Wright,
No.
okay. Alright, does anybody else have any other comments? Alright, Tiffany, call the roll, please.
Mr. Meduski.
Yes.
Mr. Bass.
Yes.
Mr. Harrell.
Yes.
Ms. Hunsaker.
Yes.
Mr. Cantrell.
Yes.
Mr. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Cox.
Yes.
Mr. Rock.
Yes.
Ms. Owen.
Yes. So the yeses have it, so we'll go on to the fifth part of the meeting, approval for minutes from August the 15th, 2024 board meeting. I need a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion.
Alright,
Second.
alright, so Mr. Cox first, Brackett, who's second? Brackett or? Oh, Brackett, okay. Alright, Mr. Cox, do you have anything?
No, sir, no ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Brackett, do you have
No.
anything? Alright, does anybody have any comments? Alright, Tiffany, take the roll, please. Huh? I can do a consent, okay, verbal consent, all in favor? Alright. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next one of recognition and presentations. We don't have any this month, so we will now go to hearing of delegations. So do we have anyone in the audience? Mr. Cresswell, go ahead and we'll let you stand. Mr. Mason, we'll get you. Okay, I gotta read your statement just first before we start the talk. The board will now open the floor to those individuals or delegations who wish to address the board. If there is a group present, please select one representative to speak for your group. Please state your name and address for our record and keep your comments to 30 minutes or less. This will be the only time that individuals from the floor will be allowed to speak unless a board member yields the floor to that individual. To protect the board's legal process, as well as each individual's rights involving complaints or issues affecting school system employees, The board cannot hear a verbal complaint against an employee. In the event you are here to voice a complaint against a school system employee, I direct you to School Board Policy 5.501. All right, Mr. Criswell.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. First of all, I want to congratulate everybody that ran for election, all 7 of you last time. Looking forward to working with each of you. Thank you for your service. You would truly appreciate it. Second thing is to our administration and our principals especially, teachers too, but especially administration and principals. Last week was a tough week. It was a no-win week, as I talked to several of you about. But your jobs can be absolutely thankless, especially in circumstances like last week. But I don't want it to be thankless, so I'm here to tell each and every one of you how much I appreciate you in circumstances that are extremely difficult. I know a lot of information can't be shared sometimes. The public would like for it to be shared, but I know you're looking out for the best of our kids, all of our kids. In fact, I've got a kid in Roane County Schools. I want you to hear it from the county mayor to say thank you for what you do. It is really appreciated. So, but that's not why I came to talk to you. I've got 2 minutes and 3 seconds to talk to you what I came to talk to you about. We have a generational opportunity to do something that we've never been able to do before. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Duff, Ms. Lockett, we have 4 commissioners here, several, maybe some others who are in the audience who joined us at the Emergency Response Training Facility to announce the location of Roane, USA, which is a uranium enrichment facility on the Oak Ridge Reservation. I can't announce the final numbers yet, they're being negotiated, but you'll see those final abatement the tax abatement numbers coming out to County Commission and Oak Ridge City Council. They'll have to vote on them in October, we're hoping in October. You'll see what those final numbers are going to be. And what you'll see, based on preliminary estimates, is that it's enough money over the next 40 years, even abated, to be able for us to rebuild the entire school system. Let me say that again, enough new revenue off this one project to be able to rebuild the entire school system. So I'm here to ask you for 2 things today. And you all know I've spoken to you before a couple different times, and I've asked you to study what we've got now and to plan for where we need to be. And I'm asking you to consider doing that again in a big way. Entire system. Over the next several years, decades really, on what our kid I'm asking you to create a system that puts our kids in the best possible position for the best jobs in the world, which I really believe are just right up the road. I'm saying this selfishly because I want my grandkids to grow up right here. I don't want to have to move to help raise them wherever they may go. I want them to stay right here just like I want all of our kids to stay right here. We have the opportunity to do that. The second thing I want to tell you is this, and I'm running out of time, but I beg just one more minute. Thank you. To do that, like you all asked, last meeting, you all sent back to Lewis Group to ask for a plan to look at 3 of 1 and moving Ridgeview and moving Harriman Middle. But if we look at the entire system, that's only really a Band-Aid to our long-term issues. We've got a chance to do something now with a minimal impact on the taxpayer that we've never been able to do. And Brillo said at the last meeting that you got to be able to count to 6, and that's absolutely true. For your all's policy, construction, for your educational, and all the things that you do on an operational basis, counting to 6, you got to be able to do that. But when it comes to building buildings, 6 won't get you there. You've got to count to 14. I'm trying to get everybody to count to 25. 14 being at least 6 of you and at least 8 commissioners. I've got 4 commissioners here with us tonight. Feel free to interrupt if I say anything wrong. But what I want to say is, if the school board and commission will work on this, on whatever your plan's going to be together all the way through the process, we've got a chance to pull this off. Especially now that we're going to have new revenue coming in. I think we'll be able to do this. Most of the commissioners I've talked to about this are willing to restrict that new revenue for capital. Not for operations, but for capital. When we're talking about capital, we're mainly talking about the schools. So the door is open, but you've got to work together. I encourage you all through the school liaison committee, all of the study and planning to be done by that committee together. And that way, when you come up with something, that committee would present to this board and to the commission really at the same time. I think that's a path forward that can really pull this off. I encourage you to do this and work together. I'm here every step of the way for anything that you need, and I thank you for your time, especially the extra time. Glad to answer any quick questions if you got any. Hearing none, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Alright, is there anyone else that would like to address? Okay, we're gonna let him go and then.
Scott Mason with the city of Harriman, just here on behalf of our mayor, who happens to be here tonight, Wayne Best, and our city council. Two of our council members are here, Alicia Harris and Nobby Brackett. But just to express our sincere thanks on the donation the school board made this year. Last year, the donation was used for a scoreboard used by the Harriman High School and the Harriman Middle School baseball field. This year, the donation is going to be put in our reserve account, so every single last penny of that dollar will go to be spent on uniforms for all of our kids participating in youth athletics, and that includes our cheerleaders. So, like I said, on behalf of our mayor, our city council, and our Parks and Rec program, the city of Harriman greatly, greatly appreciates it. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Anna Johnson, I'm the 4-H agent here in the county, and it is I've been here for 5 years, and it's an absolute privilege. Many of you probably, if you think back, you remember doing that 4-H speech, or demonstration, or baking cookies, or going to 4-H camp. But one of the very first projects that a lot of kids get to do is to raise 4-H chickens. So just curious, anybody do 4-H chickens? Hopefully one of you. Thank you. So on Saturday, September 21st, which is this Saturday, we are having our county poultry show and sale. And we have about 15 kids that have worked really hard since March, when they got their 12 baby chicks. They were 3 days old. So they have fed them, watered them, fed them, cleaned cages, built chicken coops. They have worked really hard with this project. So I invite you all, I invite the audience to come this Saturday. The show starts at 12. Auction starts at 12. Show starts at 10, and then the auction starts at 10:30. So you can buy birds from our 4-H'ers. So come with checkbooks and cash in your pocket to support these 4-H members. All the money goes back to them. So come and support. So I'll share this with each of you. And then I will share a brochure that all parents got, 4th through 8th grade, that highlights the 4-H club program. Real quick, we sent 115 kids to 4-H camp this summer. And it's a fun week, it's a hard week, but overall, it's one of the best weeks of the summer, because we take the best kids that go. And we granted over $3,000 in scholarship money to help our 4-H'ers go. So come on Saturday. We'll be done before you get home. You can sit in your recliner before the football game. And if it's been like the last few weeks, you can probably take a nap. But thank you so much for your support. And come on Saturday. Show starts at 10 and auction at 10:30. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you. And I know some people may try, but we also have another obligation that we've got to be at Saturday. So I just want to make that clear to you.
Sure,
that
absolutely.
We're not just trying to.
Sure. Whatever, I invite you all to 10 o'clock, come and
Somebody
support.
asked where it was.
Co-op,
Oh,
and it's in the co-op. So these kids have worked so hard, and they are so proud of their chickens. They named them all, and it's a phenomenal project. I've watched kids with this project for over 20 years, and it's a great project. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else? Miss Roddy?
Yes, Miss Roddy. My name is Carolyn Bushrock. I reside at 1125 Harper Road, Kingston, Tennessee. I'm here to talk about the big event tomorrow in Rockwood. We all are so excited about this. Miss Kay, I can't pronounce her last name, so I call her Miss Kay. The kids, we're gonna have 334 kids tomorrow, from 9 until 12:30. There's gonna be 8 Olympians here. It's gonna be at the Drillo Miller, Sports Complex on the soccer field. And we visited it there today, and it's huge. It's nice facility, kids have got restrooms and everything. But I am so excited, we're gonna have a nurse on campus, we're gonna have EMS, we're gonna have, security, we're gonna have park and recs, we're gonna have volunteers, we've got 10 volunteers from Rockwood. We're gonna supply lunches for the Olympians, and it's all free. The kids are gonna get bags full of good stuff, and I'd love to see some of your faces. I know everybody's gotta work, but Mr. Jenkins let me go leave tomorrow. But I am really excited. We have done this event 2 years in a row. We first did it at Bowers, and they had a wonderful time. Then we did it at Kingston Elementary. We had over 600 people there. You won't be able to get close to the Olympians just yet. We're gonna have it roped off because this event is for the kids. It's not for you to get an autograph or whatever it is, to holler at them, picture, whatever. This is for the kids. I want you all to understand that. This is about our kids. And I'm thrilled to death to be a part of this. I think, I'm not for sure, but I think the gentleman that's over USATF and his wife will be there tomorrow. So, show up and show out, Mr. Brackett.
I'll be there.
I know you will. But I appreciate all of you and everybody in this room because you all have shown me so much support and love and understanding, and sometimes I'm hard to understand. But I love each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Carolyn. All right, would anybody else like to come forward, hearing of delegations? You got in the blue shirt, you were first. You can come on, hold on just a second, I've got to read this again, and then I will need your name and address, okay?
That's fine.
The board will now open the floor to those individuals or delegations who wish to address the board. If there is a group present, please select one representative to speak for your group. Please state your name and address for our record and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. This will be the only time that individuals from the floor will be allowed to speak unless a board member yields the floor to that individual. To protect the board's legal process as well as each individual's rights involving complaints or issues affecting school system employees, the board cannot hear a verbal complaint against an employee. In the event you are here to voice a complaint against a school employee, I direct you to School Board Policy 5.501. All right, and then just go ahead and state your name and address, please, for Tiffany.
And I'm speaking as a parent, hopefully, you know, I try to dress based on the dress code that girls are subjected to. So hopefully nobody's distracted at all. I am really here to speak on the fact of the lack of communication, the breakdown in communication last week. You know, I have currently 4 children in the Rockwood school system. 3 at Ritchie, 1 at Rockwood Middle School. There's consistently a double standard towards girls and boys. 90% of mass shootings are conducted by males. Of that, there was 279 children killed between 2000 and 2022. Not 200, 279, we did 206 killed between 2000 and 2022. Of that, 80% had social media. Another 60% of that was bullying. The problem is not our children. There has never been a after-school violence that was conducted by a private school. There was never an after-school violence conducted by a girl's cleaner. There's never been an act of violence by a girl's shoulder. Yet we continue to apply the pressure towards the girls. Just 2 days ago, my daughter at Rockwood Middle School had to text me to tell me that she had asked a boy in her math class to stop bothering her 5 times. 5 times. She had to break the rules to reach out to me to have her pulled out of class because she was about to cry. Am I thankful that my daughter has that communication with me? that she knew at that point her mom would support her? Yes. But does every child have that? It should not matter whether a parent is a member of law enforcement. It should not matter if a parent is on food stamps and not working, a parent is disabled. Everybody should have the same protection. My child is still scared to go to school because the rumor mill continues. And at this point, the breakdown in communication was so disenchanting because you had kids that were told that they were safe only to see the child back at school this week drawing with weapons. You've got children that have been subjected to far too much stress. And in reality, it's contradictory to the statement that the district attorney put out. The school needs to stand united and get communication out, because at this point, we would have been more effective shoveling diarrhea with a fork. Parents, you guys may know things behind the scenes, but parents want our children to feel safe. And that's all I've got to say, because I'm out of time.
Thank you. Right, is there anyone else that would like to come to the board, to address the board? Go ahead.
I'm not gonna use big words like her, I'm just like, oh, okay. Can I stand back there though so I can face everybody?
That's fine, but you need to state your name and address.
So, I think it was the mayor that stated that we all have kids going to these schools, and we all want the same thing. So he's trying to make us all seem like we're all one, right? Well, the difference between us parents and you board members is every single one of y'all have had a smile on your face tonight. Us parents, we haven't. We haven't had a smile on our face in probably almost 2 weeks, because the rumor started way before that day happened. So there is a big difference, because the fact that you guys can sit up here and smile knowing that this isn't right, you don't care about your kids. You don't. You cannot sit up here and say that. You guys care about sports. You care about cheerleaders. A boy, my daughter goes to Rockwood Middle School. Good, sweet girl. Everybody knows. She got her hair pulled by a boy in class the other day. Did anything happen to that boy? No. Am I allowed to say words that probably, like curse words or anything?
You have to ask, probably not.
Okay. So I'm gonna. I didn't get a phone call stating that that boy pulled my daughter's hair. Instead, my daughter, walking down to school that day, got in a car, hysterically crying, and said that a boy yanked her hair and 4 different boys were tossing her back and forth between each other. And the teacher was right there. But you guys care about our kids, right? My son goes to Ridgeview Elementary School. He's in 5th grade. He's had a bullying issue for the past 2 years. Up until last year, when my son started getting bullied, my son was never suicidal. My son never mentioned killing himself because he loved going to school. He made good grades, respectful. Everybody telling me, those boys are so respectful. I just love those boys. You're doing a great job. Up until last year, when he had Mr. Sexton for a teacher, and he had a principal, Miss K, that says she would give the kids consequences, but those consequences.
You cannot discuss that.
Okay, I
You cannot bring that before the board.
That's my fault, I did not know that, I apologize. I'm just gonna wrap this up and say, the next time you guys say you care about our kids, really think hard about that statement. And wonder and think to yourselves, can you stand behind that? Because I'd be willing to go to jail right now for my child. I have nothing to lose for my child. But I know every single one of you would think that you do, and that's why this happens.
Thank you. Does anybody else like to come before the board?
I would.
Right, come on up.
Alright, I'm gonna say this, cause I don't know if you guys heard,
I did.
you did hear it, okay. Alright, please state your name.
I have 2 boys that go to Rockwood schools. My youngest does have a lot of issues, such as the one they're stating is wrong with the child in question from 2 weeks ago. From what I understand, and my only question is this: if this were any other child, my child, your child, where would they be right now if they threatened schools? Where would they be? Would they be back in the classroom? They would not. Knoxville, arrested. Roane County High School, arrested. 14 years old, arrested, in handcuffs, walked out of the school. What'd we do? Send him home for the day and he's back in class drawing pictures of guns in our class. Kids too scared to speak up because they're being threatened with inciting fear for speaking up. That's wrong, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come before the board? Anyone else? Last call. Alright, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to reports. We're gonna start with the director's report.
Thank you, Mayor, Madam Chair. First of all, I just want to welcome our new board members tonight. Jody Medusky representing Kingston. Robert Harrell is semi-new, representing Kingston. Shane Best representing Harriman. And Jeremiah Cantrell representing Rockwood. So welcome. This is a good start. We look forward to working with you all. That concludes my report.
Alright, business manager's report. Mr. Jenkins, I'm gonna yield to you on that one.
Derek's had a required training this week. In your packet, in the green thing, it's our monthly update for August in your packet. There's really nothing to go through. That's the one you get every board meeting, and all of our finances are in good standing. So if there's any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them. But that's your annual report. We'll get into some other budget items later that you'll have questions about.
Alright, facilities report.
Thank you. I'll be very brief on this. The Cherokee roof bids are in. Henley Roofing won that bid, and we have a start date of November 1st for Cherokee Middle. So November 1st, we'll start at Cherokee Middle. DEC, it was brought to our attention, the crosswalk from the football field at Midway toward the parking area. That is very poorly lit at night, and so we've talked to BEC about installing, they're gonna put 2 light poles up there. That's a safety enhancement that Casey is undertaking. The Roane County High School field lights were installed just in time for the first home game, and that's really added a lot to that stadium. I wanna thank Casey for his work on that as well. I hate to even say it, I've been told the Oliver Springs demolition and removal should be bid by the end of this month. So they're gonna open bids at the end of this month. And then just some other bigger projects. Casey was able to get a new roof on the Midway High School and the Roane County High School field houses. That's really enhanced the properties. And then they also added a sidewalk at Midway Middle for ADA access. So thank Casey and his team. That's all I wanted to say about facilities.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Committee report. So we have a policy committee. So Mr. Cox, do you have anything about that?
Well, you have the, policies that was in your packet under, old business, the ones for second reading, and the new business, the ones for first reading. I will ask, Mr. Cantrell, Mr. Medusky, Mr. Best, I know Mr. Harrell was here, so he would have gotten it. These are up for second reading. If y'all think you need more time to review those, these new members, I don't think these have to be voted on tonight, but if y'all want to make a motion, one of you, to.
I make a motion, because there's some stuff on there that I would like to look at.
Well, wait till we get down to that section, Mr. Best. But, you know, I wanted to give you that opportunity if you do. So that, y'all just make a motion, and I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. this week we can do it all good. And that's all for policy committee.
Alright, thanks, Mr. Fox. Okay, so we're on to the chairman's report. We need to reschedule the October meeting to October the 24th because our meeting actually falls on fall break. So if everyone will definitely make a note of that. And then, I know that there's been several text messages go around. Just remember, if anybody can make it to the, fall district meeting, Tuesday the 24th, we need all we can get on that one, especially if we wanna look at our board's extinction. And then, also our fall conference is November the 7th through the 10th, is that correct, Tiffany? Alright, so make sure that you're getting all that information into Tiffany, and we need all the people we can at that particular board meeting. So that is all I have for that. Alright, roll call please, Tiffany. Well, I need a motion in a second, sorry
I'll make a
guys.
motion.
I need a second. Alright, Mr. Cox first, Mr. Harold second, Mr. Cox,
No, I have nothing else.
Mr. Harold.
No.
Alright, Tiffany, please call roll.
Mr. Brackett,
Yes.
Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Meduski,
Yes.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Mr. Harrell,
Yes.
Ms. Hunsaker.
Yes.
Mr. Cantrell,
Yes.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Ms. Owen.
Yes. Alright, so the report's passed, we'll go on next to old business
I make a motion to table. Into it.
on the second. A motion to defer the second readings.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Alright, so you're making a motion that we defer the second reading of all the, of 1 through 8,
Yes,
correct?
yes, give that.
Alright, do I have a second?
I'll second that. Is that until next month,
Yes.
Mr. Best?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll second that.
So the second reading, 1 through 8, has a first motion by Mr. Best, a second motion by Sam Cox. Alright, non-discussable, so therefore call roll, Tiffany.
Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Meduski,
Yes.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Mr. Harrell,
Yes.
Ms. Hunsaker.
Yes.
Mr. Cantrell, Mr. Brackett.
Yes.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Ms. Owen.
Yes. Okay, so the new business is the first reading of the new policy from you. Alright, so Mr. Brackett says approve 1 through 5. Do I have a second? Alright, so Tiffany, so all we have to do is just do that 1 through 5 together, right? And we can do them all together. Alright, let's go ahead and take roll on that.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Meduski,
Yes.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Mr. Harrell,
Yes.
Ms. Hunsaker.
Yes.
Mr. Cantrell,
Yes.
Mr. Brackett,
Yes.
Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Ms. Owen.
Yes. Alright, that passes. So the next one, we're going to, number 6, is approval to surplus technology and non-technology equipment, items from the following. Midtown Education, Technology Department, Central Office, Oliver Springs High School, CTE.
Make a motion.
Alright, Sam Cox first, Mr. Wright second. Make a roll call, please, Tiffany.
Mr. Brackett,
Yes.
Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Meduski,
Yes.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Mr. Harrell,
Yes.
Ms. Hunsaker.
Yes.
Mr. Cantrell,
Yes.
Mr. Wright, Ms. Owen.
Yes. Alright, that passes. We're on to number 7, approval to surplus the following buses from the Transportation Department. Bus 13 and Bus 85. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Nadine Jackson makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Hunsaker seconds that. Alright, Ms. Jackson, do you have any comments?
I'd like to go to Mr. McKinney. Have there been any requests for these buses?
Number 8, Sheriff, this request one of them. These are both old special ed buses that have reached the length of their time and we're allowed to use them.
So that's the same, we'll be voting on that on item 8, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So number 13, bus 13 is just being surplus and there's no request for
They're
that.
on that bill.
Okay. Okay, that's
you. Jess, sorry, Ms. Hunsaker, do you have anything? I forgot who seconded that. Okay, all right, take roll, Tiffany, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Harrell?
Yes.
Ms. Hunsaker? Yes. Mr. Cantrell?
Yes.
Mr. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Meduski?
Yes.
Mr. Rock?
Yes.
Ms. Horn?
Yes. All right, number 7 passes, so now, number 8 is approval to donate bus 85. Who said that? Mr. Brackett. Mr. Brackett first, second by Mr. Cantrell, Mr. Brackett, Mr. Cantrell. All right, now, Mr. Ryan, do you wanna elaborate that this is just going to the sheriff's department?
That's to the sheriff's department for their inmate crew, and he has agreed to come send us those inmates to wash a bunch of cars and dust.
Okay, perfect, thank you. All right, Tiffany, can you take roll call, please?
Mr. Harrell?
Yes.
Ms. Hunsaker? Yes. Mr. Cantrell?
Yes.
Mr. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Meduski?
Yes.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Rock?
Yes.
Ms. Horn?
Yes. All right, number 8 passes. Now we are on to number 9. Approval of various budget amendments, 141, 142. Do I have a
Make a
motion?
motion.
Mr. Cox makes the motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Wright seconds it. Mr. Cox?
I'll yield to Mr. King.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. I'll be brief. Most of these are cleanups. The first page in your green packet, it's our student support. There's no new money there. They're moving $1,200 to in-service from other charges so they can spend that money. If you'll turn to the next page, it's a 142. That's a federal budget, and what we're doing is we're budgeting and spending down carryover funds in each of these lines. The first one is a Title I line. Turn the page, you have Title I neglected. Same thing, it's carryover money that has to be in revenue and expenditures. You go to the third page, we're doing the same thing. That's Title IIA, that's our professional development funds. We have a large amount of carryover there, so we have to budget that money. The next page is Title III, that's an ESL, that's for our English language learners. We're in a consortium with that, so it takes a while for the consortium to turn in their paperwork to the state. So that's a small amount of money. That's what we get to serve our ESL students, by the way. But now you see it added to the revenue line, and it'll be to the expenditure line. Title IV, we have some safety funds available in Title IV. Those are carryover. You see that $29,963. Mr. Clower already has use for that. We'll be coming at next month's meeting to add some money because TISA, they've now given us, as of this week, an estimate of how much safety money is included in TISA. You know how we said things are gonna start popping up? Well, we have some safety funds that we're gonna add to this $29,000. I'm gonna recommend that the board approve that so we can address some more safety items on our campuses. That'll be next month's meeting. The next IDA Part B, that's Fed money. Once again, budget carryover funds. IDA preschool carryover funds. And then our homeless, $16,918, that flows through and we've got it budgeted. ESSER 3.0, we've actually already spent these funds. And we have, yes, Mr. Cox, we spent every bit of it.
We actually spent more.
Spent more. because-
$142,000.
Yes.
See, everybody always says, why are you asking if you spent more? Mr. Duff informed me that we had extra money. If we didn't have something to spend it on, we've been out, you've been searching. Now we know that we got extra money, well, we're ready to spend it.
And we spoke about it last month's meeting, the extra identified money from the state went to the roofing project, so that money rolled into capital, so we still have, that was an allowable expenditure. And then the last one, ATSI, it's additional target support money that we get, to help with some identified areas on accountability. That concludes the report.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. All right, do you have any questions about that?
Yes, I did. There were, in this paper right here, there were 3 charges to a local leader out of Athens. Do we do business with out-of-county places, do we not do somebody locally? Because it's like $6,000 to get a local leader out of Athens. And what I'm wondering is why could we do somebody local?
Generally, if it's above a certain amount, we take a bid on it, whoever the winning bidder
Right.
is awarded.
I was told that was service.
Pardon?
It was service, is it service, I mean, is it service or bid or?
What page is that on, Mr. Best?
It's on,
It's in there.
another sheet, it's on page, 16 or 23.
What page?
It's find 143.
I'm not here to scrutinize this, but I'm just saying, when you see stuff like that pop up from other counties and stuff like that, it just, that's where we end up bringing a headache to local businesses and stuff like that, so why we use some other counties.
So majority of the services, I will tell you, are probably underneath the contract. Mr. Jenkins can add to that. And so if it's over a $25,000 service, which I would probably say plumbing is,
Can we pay them, total about 5,000.
but if there's a contract in
Right,
place,
right.
that means that they can actually do the service and they don't have to go out for quotes then.
I understand that, I just had questions about it.
Yeah.
It's gonna come back, I mean, people are asking.
So if somebody is asking,
Right.
definitely, and I know that we can get with the purchasing department also and find that out. But more than likely, plumbing is probably going to fall underneath the contract. Okay? And-
I still have to try.
What is, exactly.
It's a credit, okay, so it's not even
And
a.
that is, if it's what I think it is, that is the grease trap in the cafeteria, that's a specialized company. Shane.
Okay, it's all.
That's a grease trap for
I
the
just wanna make sure.
cafeteria, that's a specialized service.
Alright. Any other comments? So, number 9, do roll call, please. Okay, roll call. Yes.
Mrs. April?
Yes.
Mr. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Meduski?
Yes.
Mr. Best?
Yes.
Mr. Harrell?
Yes.
Mr. Wright? Ms. Horn?
Yes. Alright, number 11, we need to approve 2024-25 committee list. Do I have a motion? We don't have to have those? Okay, so we're gonna, alright, so we don't have to have that. Okay, so, okay. Okay, good deal. Well, Tiff and I thought we did want to. Alright, we don't have to worry about that. Alright, so we're in the middle of comments. So I'm gonna start down here on my left-hand side with Mr. Meduski. Mr. Meduski, you have any comments?
No, just appreciate the opportunity to be here. I just had a concern about why we didn't get to vote on this. I guess that's something I have to do some research on myself, and do some homework, but no other comment.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Hunsaker?
All our new board members, thank you to everyone that came to speak. Another thing you haven't seen, I meant to ask, Ms. Anna when she was here, but our 4-H drill masters have been doing very well, recently. So we want to congratulate those students for all their hard work. They're putting a lot of time in on that, and they're doing a lot of competition
She's a proud You gotta get a speech
Mr. Cox.
Good news. Maybe you'll get better anytime. No, good news.
Mr. Jenkins? Okay. Mr. Best?
Yes, with the events that happened last week, do we have any policies or procedures that we can like make a robocall out to the parents, let them know, hey, that we understand and we got it? I mean, because I feel their frustration. I mean, I was a parent before I sat here, and I feel this frustration, and it's just, can we do something? Because, the frustration is gonna be boiling and boiling and boiling and boiling, because we need something to end this. And that's my question, can we got like a policy such as a voluntary policy? Most like businesses, they have policies set up to where if something happens, then they can make the call to let the employees' families know or something like that, so.
I don't know if we can actually answer that question right now or not, but I will tell you that if there is an open investigation, we cannot say anything.
Now, we can't say nothing to an open investigation, but we can tell them that we understand there's an open investigation. We can tell them there's an open investigation, I do know that much. But yeah, from law enforcement, you can't say there's an open investigation, because Knoxville Police Department did it, Knox County Schools did it, Alcoa Schools did it, everybody did it, so except us.
So, and sometimes we'll rely on the police department too for guidance from that as well.
But if we wait on them, we're gonna get beat up. We're continually getting beat up, and then they're gonna be calling for that court action stuff. Because it's all gonna land back on him, not us, it's gonna land back on us for the election time, and by that time, we're gonna forget, we're gonna be right at that court house. And all the school teachers, all the principals and stuff like that.
So we'll refer it to the policy committee, and then that's definitely the direction that we can go. And then that's where we would have to look at it, okay? Thank you, Mr. Best. Do you have anything else?
No.
All right, Mr. Brackett?
I ain't gonna lie to you, you're gonna have to get a lot better. It's what we need to me, so, but we'll give you 11 more to practice.
Appreciate it. Mr. Harold, do you have any comments?
I'll follow up on what Mr. Best is saying. I do understand the parents' frustration as well. It's, lessons learned for all of us, it's something we can do better on communicating. I'm not in his chair or anybody else's on understanding the inside, but, this is something we can do, so, we hear you, and it's something we can look at and maybe hopefully fix. We'll just have to wait and see. We're not used to getting bomb threats or the type of threats we're getting. It's just a mass of stuff that went on, so hopefully it don't happen again, and hopefully we learn something and we can maybe communicate better next time. And, people.
Anything else, Mr. Harold? All right, Mr. Cantrell?
Really happy that the only problem that us as parents that have miscommunication, I think a lot of families and a lot of other schools wish that was really strong. So, thanks to everyone that pitched in, all law enforcement from Homeland Security all the way down to local, I appreciate what they did. And I'm, again, just thankful that the lack of communication, was the only problem. Things on those lines, so, tomorrow, Larry, are you going to the ball field? I'll be there too. They said no autographs from the Olympians, but I will sign one. Other than that.
Thank you, Mr. Cantrell. Mr. Wright?
I've heard this, we don't hear about, everyone sitting here has been we've taken the measures in the past and present to protect anybody thinks you can walk into a school. They can have, statistically speaking, we were given statistics. It's alarming, and if you think this is the last time that we're gonna go through this, it's not. Because every time there is a school shooting, and it's publicized, this happens. Now, I'm gonna speak to you professionally and not as a board member. For those of you who don't know me, somebody asked, that's right, Dan, I've spent 41 years in law enforcement. Chief at 2 different places, retired from TDI. I've been over a statewide investigative unit. I've also spent time as a trooper, and out of that, probably about 20-something years in investigations. Sometimes, as bad as it is, law enforcement has to keep things under wraps. Now, communication, we've all learned something, and I hope you all have too, because I'm sitting here listening to 2 or 3 people talking, they say, rumors. My God, if it's on Facebook, it has to be true. Because that's where a lot of the rumors were proliferating, was on Facebook. So everyone bears some responsibility for the paranoia. Now, did law enforcement take it seriously? Sure. From my point of view, and again, as I told you, I'm speaking to you professionally. I'm not trying to throw anybody on the bus, but you mentioned Knox County, some of these other counties. Law enforcement made the announcement. Because as we were told, as Christy said, and it's very true, you can't comment on an open investigation. And even there were some that were taken out of school, that were exonerated as a parent. How would you, and safety's first, and I know what you're gonna say, there's nothing that any of us sitting here, there's nothing anyone can say sitting in the sheriff's department that's gonna satisfy everybody. The best we can do is the best we can do. Can we learn from this? Sure we can. We all can. You can and we can. You know, there were pictures that were posted on Facebook that were years old that had no business being seen. Just didn't, that being your child, you've been raising Cain. Now, and I will say this as a grandparent, I don't want anything to happen to my grandkids. I don't want anything to happen when my kid was in school, when my kid was in high school. Columbine was the first shooting. And that really got triggered. But if you think that was the first in-school shooting incident that happened in this country, it wasn't. You can go back in history and find it, and we'll have others, unfortunately. But we try to do the best that we can, law enforcement does. And like I said, as a school system, as a law enforcement community, we can learn from it, as you can. Now, I'm gonna say this, I have full confidence in Mr. Jenkins, without a doubt. Sitting in a tough position, trying to make sure that things are done right. The principals and the teachers that we have did a magnificent job. They did a magnificent job. Are there areas to improve? As I said, sure there are. There will be. But you know, as I was saying, it takes a community to raise a child, to raise children. It does. It starts at home. It extends to the school. And let me tell you this. You want to talk statistics? Statistically speaking, your child is safer in school than they are out of school. Statistically speaking, your child is safer in school than out of school. And if you want to look today, the USA Today released some statistics that said about 85% of the school shootings, and they've increased, occur outside of school. They're occurring on school grounds, but it's not so much us. Yes, we've probably got some gang problems here, we do. But most of it was gang related, or where students have gotten into fights with each other, violence that way. So we are taking measures to keep our children safe. Notice I said our children safe. But it takes us all to do it.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Anything else? Alright, Tiffany, do you have anything? Alright, I'm gonna say a couple things, and then I was just trying to decide if I was gonna add to additional comments or not, but I think it is meant to. So first of all, I wanna take the opportunity to say thank you to our county executive. I know he's already left. Thank you to all of our commissioners that are here. I appreciate that. Also, welcome back to school, all you guys. So thank you for everything that you've done on that. The first thing that I'm gonna speak to is about what our county executive, and I wanna encourage this board. So, some of you know this, some of you have heard it on different videos when I was running, for board. I've had the privilege of going across the state of Tennessee and working in education. I work on education in the technology side. And one of my mentors is a huge mentor, and he's always taught me to think big. Now, I'm not talking about schools, I'm not talking about brick and mortar, I'm saying think big. And I'm gonna encourage this board, I want you to start to think big, and I want you to start to think creative. I want you to start looking at where is education going, from elementary to middle school to high school, and really realize where education is going. I think right now, Roane County Schools has an opportunity to be a picture school for the rest of the state of Tennessee. And I think if we think big, and I think we think creative, I think we can make it happen. So I'm gonna encourage the board, first of all, on that. Second of all, I'm gonna talk about last week. First of all, let me give you a little bit of the facts. I honestly do know that people, especially the man sitting next to me, was up until 1 o'clock, sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning, with law enforcement, the DA, and Homeland Security. Your student, your child, is what he thinks about all of the time. And I can honestly say that. Now I'm gonna speak to me as a board member. And the first question I'm going to address when somebody just asked me if it was your kid, well, let me tell you about my kid. When my kid was a freshman in high school and he played on the football team, and I'll just go ahead and add that in there too. When he played on the football team, him and a whole bunch of boys before the Midway Jamboree decided to get in the car and go do donuts in somebody's yard. It was time for him to get on that bus and go to that football game, and we got a call that you need to come down here and get your son because he's going to jail. I can promise you, my kids are no different than your kids, and they will tell you.
Donuts and school shootings.
Okay, no, I'm talking about the parent that said if it was my kid.
That was me.
Okay, hold on just a second, let me finish. So please understand that my kid has been in trouble. And
Has
I
he
will
been
own that.
accused of
Okay,
threatening to
I'm
blow
gonna
his
finish
nose?
comments, I'm finished comments. The next thing is, unfortunately, we live in a day and time where you have good versus evil. I don't care which way you look at it. I don't care how you slice it, dice it, I don't care. It's good versus evil. And we're living in that time. We have to prepare our kids on a daily basis with a safety plan. I did it when my daughter was in high school, my son was in high school. We had to do it. It's awful that we as parents are at this point of life that we even have to think about a safety plan. And I'm even gonna go as far as to say, when my daughter, even though she was 3 years old at 9/11, her anxiety is so high that she was diagnosed with what is called the 9/11 syndrome. It's real. You know what the other sad part is? Is our kids don't know life without war. Because they see it every day. We don't have bombs dropping. But like you stated, we have the bullying. We have the shootings. We have all of this going on. So yes, this is awful. So as a school system, we are constantly thinking about safety. And as my full-time job, I have to constantly think of safety, from cameras to doors to even devices for teachers to wear, to send a message to the front office to say, hey, this is what's going on. I'm gonna tell you guys, it sucks. I wish our kids did not have to grow up in this time. Now, I will tell you, with every situation that happens, you can always better. There's always something you can do better. There's always something, because that's part of life. It's no different as a parent. when you discipline this kid for this, and you're gonna think, I should have done this different that time, then I'm gonna tell you. So yes, there's always, when you go back and look at it, but please understand the safety of your child and the safety of every student here is very important. And I can tell you right now, it's to every board member sitting around this table. They care about, and I'll tell you something else. The people sitting around this table would not be here if they did not care about students. They would not be here. Now, the other thing I'm gonna tell you, I thought about 3 months ago as my son is sitting in Syria. And Israel bombing, Iran's bombing Israel. And we know it's all going over his bases. And you may think it may be different than now of your students sitting in that class. It's no different. We didn't have communication. You know what we had to rely on? The news.
With all due respect, I was
Okay,
in military.
I'm not, just stop.
My
I'm
husband
telling
was
you.
just in Germany
Just
a
stop.
couple months ago.
I'm
So I
telling
don't know
you,
what brings
I'm
you
telling
to
you, as a mother, I had to sit there in agony and worry about, was my son coming home or not? No different than you guys have had to deal with your spouses. So what I'm gonna tell you is that this is the day and time that we're living in. So we hear you, and I appreciate you coming tonight to talk about it. But definitely, we care about your kids. And I can promise you, Mr. Jenkins sitting next to me cares about your kids. And that's all I have.
Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn, second.
Meeting adjourned.
They don't care about what we have to say anymore. That's cool.
They putting him under pressure.
Well, remember in 2 years.
Can't wait to join this ordinance we got. It's gonna be the student. Oh, you don't know?
Excuse me.
No, they say about being scared to be at school. They need to listen to the kids. No, they're not. He right here says, help us, we're not safe. A junior, a 17-year-old asking for help because they're being told they can't say anything to the people because it's causing undue stress on the parents and the kid. What about undue stress on all the kids and all the parents? Remove the problem.
Thank you.
Hey,